Hello everyone, it's the two of us again, 2/3 of a band on ship, and we're here to do this week's tutorial. Now this song is one that I've wanted to do for a long time as a tutorial, and we finally got round to it. The reason I've wanted to do it for a long time is that nearly every club songbook in the country has this song, and nearly every club songbook in the country that has this song has it wrong. What happens, of course, is that people who run these clubs, who are very hard working and are the backbone of the ukulele community in this country, are often not particularly musical. So they trawl the net, search for a version of a song that seems all right, and incorporate that into their songbooks without really paying any attention to whether it's right or not. And more often than not, I'm afraid, in particular in this case, it's not right. And I'll show you which bit most club songbooks get wrong when we get to it. The song, of course, is With a Little Help from My Friends. Great Lennon-McCartney song from Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album in 1967. John and Paul wrote this together. They did collaborate on this one because it was Ringo's song for the album. They decided by then that Ringo was going to have one song on every album, and this was Ringo's song for Sgt. Pepper. Now, bearing all that in mind, Ringo was probably the weakest singer of the Fab Four. His vocal range was quite narrow, so John and Paul deliberately wrote a tune that had quite a narrow vocal range, all apart from the last note, which George Martin and the rest of the Beatles had to coach Ringo on quite extensively to get it, and of course recording techniques tweaked it so that it sounded okay in the end. Beatles did it in the key of E major. We're doing it in C major, A, because it's a lot easier, and because playing in E major is right at the top of my vocal range, and most club singers as well. So most club songbooks you'll find have it in C. If you want to transpose it into a different key, then by all means go ahead and do so. Right, what else? Right, that's all the preamble, I think, isn't it?
Yes.
Have I covered everything?
I think so.
Okay, the song itself, well, in the context of the Sgt. Pepper album, of course, what was notable about that album is that every song segued into the next without a real break in between. And so this one is the second song on the first side of the album, and it follows on from the title track, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And if you remember, so let me introduce to you the one and only Billy Shears and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Well, Billy Shears actually is the segue into this song, and if you remember on the album, it goes like this. And then, what would you... Okay, and so that's how it fits in the album. If you want to do it that way, then it's on the song sheet. But if you don't want to do it that way, if you just want to get into the song, may I suggest that a 4-bar intro of 2 bars on, or two beats of C, 2 beats of G, repeated. So it's actually a 2-bar intro. Depends where your bar is, whether you're counting 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4. If we count 1, 2, 3, 4, the introduction goes. Simple as that. I play the C up there as 5, 4, 3, 3. Just because, really, just because it gives a slightly different voicing. And this is one of those instances that if you know what you're doing, you can play a G7 instead of the G there, and it works. And if you play that C up there as 5, 4, 3, 3, then you can switch to a G7 as 4, 5, 3, 5. And it makes just a nice different voicing for that introduction. And there it works. So instead of playing basic, we get whichever way you prefer, or if you find another way of playing a C chord followed by a G chord, then go ahead and do so. Okay, let's get into the song. There's nothing to worry about in the verses at all. As I'm sure you know this song probably better than I do. But it's just a C, G, D minor, long passage on D minor, and then G and C at the end of the line. So, as in 2, 3, 4. What would you think if I sang a tune? Would you stand up and walk out me? All very well so far. Now, when you're playing that D minor, just let me go through the melody and you'll see what I mean about a narrow vocal range. That verse is within 5 notes. It starts on an E, goes up to a G. So we've got 4 different notes there. Here we've got E, F, G, D, E, F, G, F, F. So in that entire verse, you've got a vocal range of 4 notes, D to G, with 1 C note in the last bit of the line. So it's a very clever bit of simple songwriting. But while you're on that D minor, you can play quite a bit of the melody in that D minor chord. See how that works? It's just... all I'm doing is lifting my index finger off and putting it back on again. So we're getting... So the melody's in there, in those chords, and I'm sure you can work that out. But it just lends a bit of something to the introduction rather than just banging on a D. Second line of the verse, lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song. I'll try not to sing out of key. Does exactly the same thing. So you can do exactly the same thing, but obviously I'd prefer it if you did something different. But anyway, now we get on to the chorus. Now, we're playing in C, so unfortunately we have to put B flat in there because we get, oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. B flat, F, C. Repeated, oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. And the third line of the chorus is where a lot of the songbooks get it wrong because they repeat the B flat, F, C. But if you go and listen to the record, there's no B flat in the third line of the chorus. It goes straight to an F, as in, whole of the chorus, oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. So it goes straight to the F. Don't play the B flat in the third line of the chorus, because if you do, I will seek you out and beat you soundly about the mazzard with somebody else's ukulele. So be warned. Right, that's really the most significant point of this whole tutorial, is get the third line of the chorus right. At the end of the chorus we get, I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Now, on the recording, you've got just a little riff turnaround there that goes, and then some drumming. Okay, well that's easy enough. It's just a G, which is my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the E string, and the F, and the E. You can do it an octave higher if you like. And again, there you can put a G7th in rather than a G if you fancy it, or if you've got a budding percussionist, go listen to the record and see what happens, the little turnaround at the end of the first chorus. So work something out that works for you. The second verse, what do I do when my love is away? Does it worry you to be alone? This is a kind of call and response, because you've got Ringo asking the question, what do I do when my love is away? And the other two Beatles were singing the response, does it worry you to be alone? So again, if you're performing this in a group, why don't you divide your vocals up into call and response there as well? And the second line of the verse does exactly the same thing. How do I feel by the end of the day is the question, and are you sad because you're on your own is a follow-up question. But again, it's a call and response thing going on there. And then the second chorus is exactly the same as the first, and again that B flat does not feature in the third line of the chorus. From the end of the chorus, no turnaround, we go straight into the bridge, the middle eight. So we get, gonna try with a little help from my friends, do you need? And there again, there is a call and response. Do you need anybody? I need somebody to love. And it's quite simple. It's an A minor, anybody, and then there's a D major chord there, just to give it a little bit of surprise and a little lift to the bridge there. And then we revert back to type C, B flat, F. And repeated the second line of the bridge, could it be anybody? I want somebody to love. Again, it's asking a question and answering a question. Then from there, we go straight into the third verse. Would you believe in a love at first sight? And here we are again with a call and response, but this is different. It's the other way around. It's the backing vocals asking the question, and then the main vocalist, yes, I'm certain that it happens all the time, answering the question. So we've got the call and response the other way around. But in that third verse, it follows straight on from the bridge, just as the bridge followed straight on from the second chorus. The bridge goes straight into the third verse, so it goes, could it be anybody? I want somebody to love. 2, 3, 4. What do you need? And then straight into the third verse. No turnaround, just 4 straight beats, strums on an F. Then we get to the third verse. It's exactly the same musically as the first two. Third chorus, exactly the same as the first two. And then a repeat of the bridge, exactly the same as the first bridge. And when we get to the end of the second bridge, where we're going, when there isn't another verse, it goes straight into the with a little help from my friends chorus. So we just go straight through again. The second line of the second bridge is, could it be anybody? I want somebody to love. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. So we go from that F at the end of the bridge straight to a B flat. Now this last chorus breaks the mould, because on this time and this time only, the B flat does appear in the third line of the chorus, because then it's going straight into the coda right at the end of the song, and we get this. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. Yes, I get by. And then we go to a B flat, by with a little help from my friends, to an F. And then the little coda, that friends, right at the end, which is an A flat a B flat and a C. Now, before you start tying your fingers in knots, wondering how you're going to do that, may I suggest a way that works for me? I play my A flat as a full 4-string bar chord on the 3rd fret and make an F shape, but using my middle and ring fingers. So my ring finger goes on the 5th fret of the G string and my middle finger goes on the 4th fret of the E string. So there's an F. You might need to...
No, A flat.
A flat, sorry. You might need to practice that to sound all 4 notes cleanly, and it's, you should be getting to grips with bar chords by now. So that's an F.
A flat.
A flat. It's an F shape, sorry, it's an A flat. And then all you need to do is to slide that shape up 2 frets so that you're barring the 5th fret and your ring finger is on the 7th fret of the G string and your middle finger is on the 6th fret of the E string, and that's another voicing for B flat. And if you want, you can take that up 2 frets further and you'll find a C chord up there. So you're barring the 7th and your ring finger is on the 9th and your middle finger is on the 8th, and that's a C chord. If you find that difficult, then you can revert to one or other of the C chord positions that you know. But you can also play it as 0, 7, 8, 7 instead of 7, 7, 8. That's a voicing of C. 0, 7, 8, 7. Or you're going from there, don't forget, the B flat. You can go back down to that C, 5, 4, 3, 3. Or you can go to your ordinary C chord, or you can just put one finger, whichever one it happens to be handy, on the 7th fret of the A string, and that's a C chord as well. So find a voicing for C that you like and that you can get to in time of there, bearing in mind that it's the last chord of the song and it's going to ring out. So you want something that's not going to be a bit muffled or buzzy. So find a nice ringing C chord that works for you. If it means going back down to your first position and you're more comfortable with that, then by all means do it. That's about it, really, all of the song. There are 1 or 2 little tips and things there. I'll just run through that last sequence again. The A flat, one of the easiest ways to play A flat is a bar chord on the 4-string bar on the 3rd fret. I must get these teeth sorted out. Been breaking them in for a red rum. And your ring finger goes onto the 5th fret of the G string, and your middle finger goes onto the 4th fret of the E string. A flat. Shift that up 2 frets, same position is a B flat, shift it up a further 2 frets in the same position, it's a C, or find an alternative C like that, or that, or that, or that. Right, I think that's it, isn't it?
It is, yeah, well done.
Okay, we'll be... the song sheets are available on request. I know 1 or 2 people have had them already, so please don't hesitate to ask. We'll be putting out a play-along version of this song at the weekend, and don't forget to look out for our Friday Foolishness, our comic song coming up later this week. But that's it, isn't it?
Yep.
It is. Okay. Well, that's all from us for today. So
enjoy the sunshine.
Oh yeah. Well, it's beating down where we are. So I hope the sun is shining on you wherever you are. And well, we'll see you soon. You know what to do until we do. Stay safe, be kind to yourselves, look after each other, and answer your phone when it rings. And with that, it's goodbye from Pam.
Bye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.